Good evening, race fans. Welcome to tonight's All-American ARCA event. It's guaranteed to be another good time as we are here for the Chicagoland 200 at the virtual Chicagoland Speedway. As always, on behalf of Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, my name is James East, bringing the action live, 1080p, 60 frames a second, as we head out for single car qualifying, getting ready for the 134-lap, 200-mile event. These guys, again, have 85% fuel capacity, 3 additional sets of tires behind the wall, and 3 green-white checker attempts. But the biggest point I need to make to you tonight, guys, is that there are 48 entries in a race that caps at 43 drivers. So that means 5 drivers are going to be going home early here tonight. As we are watching qualifying with David Westergreen and the number 93 machine running a new paint scheme here today. The bright pink number 93 machine for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Always great seeing Westergreen out on track. Another talented broadcaster in his own right and a pretty solid race car driver. This is round 2 of season 2. And I'm intrigued to see what tonight will bring. Right now, we've got a poll set up for all of our viewers across the world. Let us know what you think. Is it going to be over or under 6 cautions here tonight? We've got Joseph Penn as race control. He's betting under. We've got Striker Motorsports cheering on their drivers. Striker Motorsports, let us know who you're cheering for. We try and give our drivers as much TV time as we possibly can. And I guarantee you these drivers go back and they look to see who's cheering them on. Westergreen's going to have to be happy with a 31.23 after having a big bobble on his second qualifying lap. Pole currently owned by Barba Galata. Hopefully I didn't butcher that wrong, Will. If so, I'm terribly sorry. Clicking off at 30.92. He's just ahead of Elliott Henderson, who clicked off at 30.94. Let's see who else is going out on track. A lot of drivers. We've got Craig Martin going out and the number 22 machine. As it stands, 38 drivers have put down time so far. Eckert clicks off a 30.94, not quite able to catch up to Barba Galata. I'm going to get that right by the end of the night, ladies and gentlemen. I swear to you. We've got a fair amount of new drivers coming here today. Barba Galata, he's a new driver. I believe I saw a couple of others. Jesse Nakula, I believe a new driver, the number 48 machine. Terry Freer, the 46. Radburn Shutters, he's raced here plenty of time with Cornerstone. Zach Roethlisberger, the number 23 machine, I believe a first-timer here. Rhett Tucker, he's been here before, the number 91 machine. I want to say Tomasi may be out on track as well. We have had 45 drivers qualify. As it stands right now, Bruce Pearson and the number 6 machine is on the bubble. We've got 3 drivers still out on track who have not put down a time yet. That's DJ Weeks Jr., James SoundCloud Silvers, and Rhett Tucker, who you're currently watching. are going to have to put down at least a 31.62. Rhett Tucker's able to do so with a 31.56. That's going to push Pearson out of qualifying. Now is Randy Benami in the 195 machine on the bubble. He clicked off a 31.58. Let's see what Weeks can do. Weeks able to do so soundly with a 31.29. So now it is John Simpson Jr. on the bubble. Let's check on our favorite SoundCloud Silvers. We're waiting for his paint to load. I think Trading Paints and iRacing may be having a bit of a problem here. Just so many cars out on track. As there we go, Silver's paint finally loading. He's got to go faster than a 31.64 to make it to the big show here today. And he will do so with a 31.16. So it appears it's going to be Simpson, Benami, Pearson, Hummelt, and Scroggins that will not be able to make it to the main event here today. Again, only taking the 43 fastest drivers in qualifying. We've got Victoria Harper here cheering on McGronigal as well as Tim Roster. Stryker Motorsports drivers are Jesse Nakula in the number 48 and Robert Hill Jr. in the 05. Fire Angel saying, in the words of Mars Ledford, anyone but Kyle Busch. Deanna Piano tuning in tonight, cheering on Davis. And that is going to do it. 5 drivers not making it, unfortunately, to the main event. Simpson Jr., Benami, Pearson, Hummelt, Scroggins, unfortunately unable to make it to the show here tonight. That is the good and bad part about racing in such a stacked field of drivers. You've got 48 entries and only spot for 43. Unfortunately, somebody's going to have to draw the short straw as Race Control gets ready to advance the session for the main event here today. It looks like, for the most part, 86% of our viewers saying there's going to be more than 6 cautions here tonight. I'm going to bet against you guys. I'm going for the under. I'm optimistic. We've got Race Control Joseph Penn here. He seems to be a little bit lucky whenever he makes his way out onto the Race Control spot. The man just entices clean driving. What more can you say? And we did get confirmation it's going to be Simpson, Benami, Pearson, Hummelt, and Scroggins not able to make it to the main event here today. A shame, as those are some extremely talented drivers we've seen do well in the past. That will be unable to make it to the big show here today. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much, friends, family, sponsors for different teams, fans, Race Control tuning in. I know the Penn family tune in every night from, I believe, Connecticut. They tune in every week supporting their sons, I should say. They've got, the Penn family has Joseph Penn acting as Race Control and Alex Penn acting as a race car driver here today. Alex Penn, a go-kart racer, a Skip Barber attendee, and an all-around awesome family. And we definitely notice you guys week in and week out that like the video, supporting the channel, subscribing to the Team Goon Squad channel. We really and truly could not do it without you guys each and every week, and we are oh so appreciative to have you on board supporting the program, supporting Team Goon Squad broadcasting, and especially supporting the drivers here at the All-American ARCA Series. Some of the biggest grids we have the pleasure of broadcasting week in and week out. It is a very large, dysfunctional family, but there's no better way to spend a Friday night than watching your favorite hooligans travel around at speeds of excess of 200 miles an hour. Again, this is round 2 of the second season. Sorry, I got stuck in my words. The Winter Series. Last week we were at Daytona. It ran for an hour and a half, 92 laps. We had 12 different leaders. We had 29 lead changes, and we only had 6 cautions for 17 laps, so exponentially better than what we've seen in the season opener for Season 1, where it was a real bloodbath out there. As again, right now it's kind of a warm-up period for the drivers that unfortunately did not make it to the main event. Then we will advance the session and send out a bunch of wild drivers. 43 drivers, a absolutely packed grid here today. And hopefully those that betted for over 6 cautions, hopefully you're totally wrong. Hopefully it's a nice clean race, green flag pit stops. But as we've seen before, when these guys crash, oh my goodness, do they crash. If you caught the highlight reel coming into tonight, that was from Season 1, Round 1 at Daytona. The white flag will fly for our drivers, Randy Benami, John Simpson, who unfortunately will only be doing this parade lap for the fans at home, at least giving their teams a little bit of TV time. Benami was running very well at Daytona last week before causing an incident with your race leader, Carrington. But hate to see it for Benami and Simpson, two talented drivers that have ran up front in previous rounds and just having a big bobble in qualifying. We've got M-Chief Jerome Barber cheering in, saying, Team Goon Squad, best squad. Always great seeing our friend from Nebraska tuning in. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to get the party started here in Chicagoland, as we're going to grid them up and get a massive party started. No, excuse me, it's a very brief warm-up. Something kind of goofy with iRacing doesn't allow the drivers to go straight into it. This is how they have to set the field up with the, I don't know what you call it, elimination, I guess, with qualifying, with drivers being unable to make it to the big show. But let's go ahead and run it through a huge grid here tonight. It is Will Barbagalata starting on pole number 35 machine the first time this season. Jumpin' Johnny Eckert starting second. Elliott Henderson starting third. Andrew McGronigal starting fourth. Michael Vandermeet starting fifth. Christopher Heller starting sixth. Tate Lytle in the 56 starting seventh. Brad Delph starting eighth. Dylan Smock will be starting ninth. Zach Rogers, number 57, starting 10th. Davis Warren starting 11th in the number 70. Brandon Barkuski starting 12th tonight. Cycle back, we've got Jacob Feskinen starting 13th. DJ Weeks Jr. starting 14th. Jesse Nakula starting 15th. James SoundCloud Silver starting 16th. Terry Freer starting 17th. Mark Proctor 18th. Gavin Fitzgerald starting 19th. Ron White starting 20th. Casey Carrington starting 21st. Lane Doyle starting 22nd. Alex Harrington starting 23rd. David Westergreen starting 24th here tonight. Cycle back one more time. Nick Terrell starting 25th. Radburn Shutter starting 26th. Patrick Hernandez starting 27th. Andrew Neri 28th. Kyle Hall starting 29th. Alex Penn starting 30th. Zach Roethlisberger starting 31st. Dylan Breton starting 32nd. Justin Ray starting 33rd. Robert Hill Jr. starting 34th. Adam Tepe starting 35th. Craig Martin starting 36th. And then to round it out, Justin Bentley starting 37th. Jay Stinson starting 38th. Tyler the Weapon Evans starting 39th. Shane Gentry starting 40th. Rhett Tucker will be starting 41st on the grid. Derrick Cook starting 42nd. And Carolus Thiel barely making the big show. He'll be starting 43rd, our last driver to qualify. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen. 134 lap shootout. It's Will Barbagalata on the front row with Jumpin' Johnny Eckert, Elliott Henderson, Andrew McGronigal, your second row, and then Vandermeet and Heller, your third row here today. Let's see what our drivers can do. Let's see how clean they're going to keep it going. Now, for those that betted on 6 cautions or more, I'm going to agree with you to a part. I think the opening laps here tonight might be a little bit rough for our drivers. But the green flag will fly at Chicagoland. Eckert in the number 90 machine gets a great launch, as he's going to get next to Barbagalata for second, who's now in second. Number 35 machine here, pole setter, maybe gets squeezed out here. But these guys are going to keep going side by side. They make contact early on. Eckert gets a little bit loose. He's able to hold on to the number 90 machine. The field will scatter and Eckert will drop like a rock down the standings, going from first to ninth. Barbagalata holds on to the lead. Elliott Henderson up one spot, and the number 37 machine, Andrew McGronigle, in third. Heller fourth. Vandermeet still holding on to fifth. My, oh my, did we almost have that first caution come out very, very quickly. As now Eckert will have a bit of an uphill battle. Hopefully he doesn't have too much aero damage on the front of that number 90 machine. I believe he's able to keep it off of the wall. As now Eckert will be behind Tate Lytle in the number 56 machine. Delph in number 14 also trying to pick up a spot early on, but as a reminder, Lytle was the first driver to win this season at Daytona. Able to survive a bit of a rough race that we saw for several of the guys here. As this is the battle for sixth on screen. You've got Lytle on the inside line, Eckert on the outside line. Everyone trying to find a dance partner. Eckert's going to get a little bit of support from Brad Delph with the draft to try and work their way up to the front together. A few different races going on. You've got Alex Penn battling with Nick Terrell. The battle for 29th. Got Zach Roethlisberger, number 23 machine. He's up 3 spots so far into 28th. As we're going to check back up front, it looks like it's going to be Elliott Henderson has moved up 1 spot to second. McGronigle third, Heller fourth, Vandermeet just holding on to fifth. But hey, we've made it 7 laps into an opener of a race. Now Daytona, we kept it pretty nice and green up until about 3/4 of the way through the race, if memory serves me correctly. And tonight, drivers hitting speeds in excess of 190 miles an hour on the straightaways of Chicago. We're going to check on Silver's number 17 machine. He's up 4 spots here early on tonight. Now you're going to see 2 unique lines through the tri-oval, the start-finish line. Some drivers will go all the way down to the apron. Some guys will keep it on the main banking here in Chicago. I'm curious to see how that may affect tire wear for some of the drivers. Jesse Nakula, Davis Warren putting on a great show for 13th. And now I believe Davis Warren's also going to try and get a piece of it. Running a new paint scheme here today. We're going to go back up front. Things are shaking up. The top 3 drivers battling hard. It's Henderson, Barbagalata, and McGronigle, as well as Christopher Heller just outside the mix here. He's watching the top 3 drivers, seeing if they make any mistakes, and maybe just waiting on them to possibly make some sort of error that can result in 3 fast cars getting wadded up. As Heller will pick up a spot from McGronigle to take over 3rd place. now your top three is stretched out ever so slightly. The Broncos about a half a second back from Christopher Heller running third in the number 11 machine with 25-11 Racing. Other battles on track. We're second back a little bit further. I believe that's Dylan Smock. And the number 60 machine, he's going to be battling Barkuski and the Miller Lite, number 25. That is the battle for 10th on screen right now as they go side by side. My apologies for the coughing for the fans at home as well. Still getting over COVID. Do my best to hit the push the mute button before an outburst comes out, but every now and then I miss it. Great battles all across the track as you're watching Kyle Hall and Proctor battle for that 21st spot. I've got to say that's one of the coolest parts here of the All-American ARCA Series is you've got great battles all across the racetrack. Alex Harrington, number 85, also watching the battle for 21st. But when you get 43 very talented drivers out on track, you get a lot of great racing no matter the position you're in. As I believe we just saw and heard Hernandez, possibly that was him in the outside wall, the number 19 machine. And the yellow flag will fly. Not quite sure where that came out for. Didn't quite see the crash. Live time and scoring doesn't show it either, so that's our first caution of the night. Keep track at home, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a big wager going on for an over-under for that 6th place spot, or that 6 cautions. I don't see anybody coming down pit road yet. So to be honest, not quite sure why the caution flew for the first time here today. We'll see if we can get confirmation from race control and maybe give us a heads up. The who, what, why, and where. As we're going to try and update the live timing tower as well. See if we can get that display on the right side of your screen working properly. Sometimes things go a little bit crazy when you've got 43 drivers out on track. There we go. Close enough for government work. Yeah, we're kind of at the limits here of what the broadcasting software can do. Just a ton of people out here racing. So let's see, your top 5 will be Henderson, Heller, Barbagalata, Eckert, and Vandermeed. We've got Shane Gentry, Derrick Cook, Carola Steele all coming down pit road. Not sure if they were involved in that incident or not. Or maybe going for a bit of a strategy here today. as we're going to get them gridded back up. So it was 21. I believe that maybe... No, I was thinking that maybe Silvers. It was Derrick Cook involved in that incident. He had a contact with the 01 of Thiel. So Cook and number 21 will receive an EOL. Both drivers coming down pit road to try and get their repairs done. Now, throughout the broadcast tonight, you'll see a few messages appear at the bottom of your screen. That is messages from race control to the drivers, giving us a heads up of what the incidents are. So, for example, you saw lap L14 incident signifying as the lap 14 incident. They will tell us the number, the penalty, and they will tell us why. So, as L14 incident, number 21 end of line penalty for contact with the 01. Got Jason Gardner, a good friend, tuning in tonight. He's checking out the Team Goon Squad website, taking use of our automatic messaging system. We're going to get them formed back up. It's going to be Henderson and Heller on the front row here. We had Craig Lowen tuning in asking if his teammate and friend Mark Proctor has been pulverized yet. No, Proctor's still running out on track. He's 19th, down one spot from where he started here today. Here we go, pace car comes in, and we're gonna get them going once more here for the Chicagoland 200 of the All-American ARCA Series. Henderson gets a great launch, Heller does as well, number 11 machine. Barbagalata in the number 35 machine, he's down 2 spots from where he started, but look at this, Eckert in the number 90 machine, charging back up the field. He was as far back as 10th at one point. Oh, this is not good. We got a pit lane update from Davis Warren, the number 70. His internet went out of him. He may be out and retired for the night. Hopefully Warren can get the old hot spot fired up and get back out there. Maybe salvage some points, but absolute heartbreak for the number 70 of Davis Warren, a fan favorite. Just not having the stroke of luck that he needed here today. Eckert trying to take over the third place spot once again from Barbagalata. He dives down the inside line. And he will secure third place once more in the number 90 machine. As a reminder, Eckert started this race second, and they made a bit of contact, I believe, with Barbagalata. And here we go again, another caution. That's going to be caution number 2 here today, as it looks like it may be David Westergreen, one of the drivers involved. Let's take a quick look at that and see what may have happened to Westergreen. He's side by side with Hernandez, and no, it's Silvers gets punted there. Westergreen gets involved with, I believe that's Carrington. And then Silver's nowhere to go, just getting absolute runt over. That's the professional term for it, ladies and gentlemen. So let's try and watch that one once more from Silver's point of view. Silvers gets tapped by, I believe, DJ Weeks Jr. And look at that, just carnage. That's Terrell at the number 81. Man, what a night. watch that one once more while we have the time on board with David Westergreen and the number 93 machine. Yeah, that Silver's going for a wild ride. And then poor Westergreen just gets slammed from behind. And that will unfortunately take out several great drivers early on. And that will bring out our second caution of the night. We're still under 6 for those keeping track at home. Because I personally am betting against 81% of you. I am optimistic. I am saying less than 6 cautions here today. Looks like it's still going to be 30, maybe 35, 36 drivers on the lead lap. Carrington, White, Cook, Silvers, Westergreen, Terrell, all down pit road. That's going to have Henderson, your race leader, Heller second, Eckert third, Barbagalata fourth, Vandermeed fifth, as we have the second caution of the night. Lucky Dogs will get their wave around. Now currently going into tonight, Brad Delph and Tate Lytle and Kyle Hall, our top 3 cleanest drivers so far of the season. Delph had 1 incident point the season opener. Tate Lytle had a 4X, as well as Kyle Hall. So that will be an interesting stat to keep an eye on as things progress here today. Now that may be a little bit skewed, as Delph has only completed 88 miles so far in the season, while Lytle and Hall went the full distance at 230 miles. But that is going to be something we keep an eye on as the season progresses. Keep an eye out on who's the cleanest drivers of the series, and make sure we reward those guys as much as we can with TV time. There you have it at the bottom of your screen, lap 22 incident. The collision between the 97 and the 17 was ruled as a racing incident. For those of you at home that have no idea what that means that it's just kind of 2 race cars trying to collect on the, or excuse me, occupy the same amount of tarmac. You can't really fault anybody, just good tight racing where unfortunately things went bad. I believe Silvers may be retired for the evening, as well as Nick Terrell, David Westergreen, Harrington, Ray, Warren, all looking like they've taken it back to the hauler tonight. I think DJ Weeks Jr. may also be out of tonight's race. No fast repair, so what you get is what you get here at the All-American ARCA Series. Which I know it's kind of mixed feeling amongst the drivers on if they like that or not. I've got to say, as a racer and broadcaster, I'm a big fan. And I think that can be what attributed some of the clean racing we saw at the season opener in Daytona. Drivers knowing if they wad their machinery up, that is it for the night. Here we go again. It's Henderson and Heller on the front row. Let's see. Heller looks to have a good drive on the inside line. But Henderson's going to come down. He's going to leave Barbagalata on the outside in no man's land, as Eckert is going to follow in tow on the inside line. I think I just saw lap traffic just ahead of your race leaders. We do. Is that Nick Terrell I see in the number 81 machine? That is. Terrell, the number 81, is going to go to the high line to allow the race leaders to come through. And that is going to make things nice and exciting for the rest of the field as they're going to go 3 wide into turn 3. Nick Terrell holding on for dear life, not wanting to get caught up in the leaders, but not a lot of real estate at the track here for him to go. As out of turn 4, these drivers are going to naturally want to drift up into the race line. That was Barbagallo drifted high, almost got into the number 56, I believe, of Lytle. I think guys are pushing very hard into this run. I smell a caution coming soon. Barbagallo going side by side with Vandermeet in the number 7 machine. We've got Patty Heller here tonight. She's cheering on the boys with 2511 Racing. That is Heller and Barkuski, 2 teammates that always do a great job and run clean races. Right now, we've got the camera focused on the battle for this 6th place spot between Vandermeet, Barbagallo, and Brad Delph. As you're on board with Barbagallo watching the race in front, that is Tate Lytle, Brandon Barkuski, Vandermeet. Really a whole lot of guys pushing through. Look at this, Eckert's taking over 2nd place. Back to where he started. He's about 0.8 of a second back from your race leader, Elliot Henderson. And I am already looking forward to filming the radioactive of tonight's race. If you missed it, we filmed the radioactive for Daytona earlier for the season opener. And I've got to say, some of our better work. I'm not going to lie to you guys. And if you're looking for that radioactive link, it is now here in the chat. For those that maybe want to save that for after tonight's broadcast, have something to watch on a nice Friday night. Elliot Henderson still out front in number 37 machine. He's up 2 spots from where he started here today. Now this race was scheduled to be about 67 minutes long, not counting cautions or pit stops. So I'm thinking it's going to be about an hour and a half here today as the cautions pop up occasionally. We've had a couple of quick early ones here today. I would suspect as the field gets a little bit strung out, we get a little bit more single file and the tire wear becomes a factor for these drivers. Oh, I jinxed it. That was on me. What I was going to say was things may stretch out for these drivers. And what happened to Stinson? Did he get a hearty push from behind? Let's look at that one once more from a different camera angle. Yep, just got the old good hearty push in the back left quarter panel. Sends him careening around. Let's see who that was he was involved with. As unfortunately the camera cuts out. We'll get confirmation from race control here shortly. And that will be our 3rd caution of the night, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I've completely thrown everything out the window. The commentator's curse strikes once more as soon as I open my big mouth. The 3rd caution comes out on lap 34. And we're going to see the field come into pit lane. I would assume grab 4 fresh Goodyears. Let's keep an eye out and see if anybody goes for a 2-tire stop to try and value track position. Andrew McGronigle stays out here, as well as Ron White and Carolus Thiel. McGronigle and White came in on lap 24. Thiel came in on lap 16. As it's looking like it's going to be a 4-tire pit stop for most of the drivers. Henderson, Eckert, Lytle, Barkuski, Heller, Vandermeed, Barbagalata, all taking 4 tires, 4 fresh Goodyears, and a tank of gas. So again, now that we've got our 3rd caution out, all predictions go out the window. It is going to be an immediate crash fest following this. That is my guess. Because now after about 30 laps, maybe 28 or so laps of green flag racing, you're going to have guys coming out with fresh tires once more. And everybody seems to get a little bit more aggressive on these restarts as the races progress. But we're still under 6 cautions, so I'm still holding to my under bet. So it's going to be McGronigle and White on the front row. Henderson and Eckert, your 2nd row. Lytle and Barkuski, your 3rd row for this restart. We've had 21 people vote here today, 81% saying we're going to go over 6 cautions, 19 few proud, brave viewers saying we're going to go for the under. And I'm just not going to talk anymore for the rest of the broadcast. I'm going to make no predictions. I'm going to avoid the commentator's curse. You know what, we're going to hit a little reverse psychology. We're going to have 308 cautions here in 134 lap. That way, it'll go the direct opposite of what I predict, as always. As let's see what McGronigle and White can do on the front row. McGronigle up 3 spots. White with that pit strategy is up 18 spots. Now all these guys are very fast, very talented, but we are praying to the iRacing gods that McGronigle and White can immediately get on the gas because they've got a lot of fast, aggressive drivers right behind them on this restart. Things could get very dicey here as cautions always breed cautions. Jacob Veskinen out on track number 89 machine. One of the drivers who unfortunately did not make it to the show last week, but coming out strong here today. Green flag is a go. McGronigle with a huge launch. White gets caught slipping at the line. That's going to allow Eckert to try and get his way around on the outside line. Up number 27, Ron White. Henderson's going to follow in tow, and the number 37 machine, as well as Lytle and Barkuski trying to make that outside line work. We'll go a little bit further back. Christopher Heller going to the inside of Vandermeed, making the pass for 7th place. And the sun will start going down in Chicago. The track temp will cool off ever so slightly. And you may see some fastest laps in the session as these guys will come out on cooler, newer tires. And look at the battle for 5th going on as well. Brandon Barkuski, Ron White, they're dicing it up. As now White has Heller on the inside of him, as well as Barbagalata and Vandermeet. They briefly go 3 wide. Everybody able to get through it nice and clean. They're still 3 wide behind them. And we're going to bring out the 4th caution of the night, as there's going to be a lot of drivers involved in that one. Let's take a look. Right now you're watching Rhett Tucker in the number 91 machine. What on earth happened there? Let's back that camera angle up and see who causes it. The number 48 machine spins it on his own, and then it is absolute parking lot time at Chicagoland. Kyle Hall involved in that one. So we've got Lane Doyle, Radburn Shutters, DJ Weeks Jr., Proctor, Doyle, Shutters, all involved in that one. We're going to watch that one once more from a different angle. Yeah, the number 48 machine just loses it all on his own with those fresh tires. And they paved parking lot and put up an ARCA race. Man, oh man, what a series of hard hits. So now Eckert will be your race leader. It looks like Nakula, Freer, Hall, Penn, Breton, Silvers, Martin, all in pit lane. Fitzgerald, Neri. Fourth caution. Still looking like that's less than 6 with my broadcast math. But I'm not feeling as confident in my wager now, ladies and gentlemen. So that was Jesse Nakula in the number 48 machine, who will, I believe, be awarded an EOL for that self-spin incident. Jason Gardner saying one heck of a jump start on the outside. April Post saying, geez, gotta agree with both sentiments. Now, I'm not sure if what we saw was a jump start or maybe the difference in tires is those guys in the lead pack had about 12 lap different tires on their strategy. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. Well, let's see what happens. Now it's going to be Eckert and Henderson on the front row. Both these drivers came in on lap 35 for 4 fresh Goodyears and a tank of gas. ARCA cars do ARCA car things. That's probably the best way to describe it. And ARCA brakes always make for good entertainment. Craig Lowen says, less than 6 before what? Lap 50? If you're talking lap 134, you're doing some proper Alabama math right there. I would be offended, except Craig is from Australia and does not realize the broadcast booth is in Georgia. 2 entirely different states, unless you're an Aussie, in which case, yeah, close enough. We've got one more viewer voting for over 6 cautions. I've got to say that bet may be looking safer and safer for the 82% of the viewers that were betting on over 6 cautions here tonight. Tucker saying there are a couple pedals and each are important. I've got to agree. I think some drivers kind of get used to that mashing the loud pedal. On a track at Chicagoland, it's mostly pretty flat until the tire wear starts to come in. I believe that last incident was drivers that kind of get used to driving on a tight setup as the run progresses, coming back out on those 4 fresh tires and a little bit looser than you were expected. I believe Tucker's message is probably going to be the quote of the week there. We'll go ahead and pin Tucker's message for the day because that's probably the best life advice you're going to get here, ladies and gentlemen. Come to All-American ARCA for their great racing and stay for the life advice here at the broadcast. Green flag is a go. Jumping Johnny Eckert with a great start. The number 94 of McGraw quickly goes all the way down to the apron, and the yellow flag already comes out. They have binned it on the restart, ladies and gentlemen. How? Feskinen involved in that with the number 89 machine. Let's see what happens. He gets clobbered by Hernandez. I'm not sure if the driver in front of Feskinen maybe missed his shift, and that caused Feskinen to check up. Let's watch it once more. Yeah, the inside line stalls. Feskinen gets run over, and then he's going to go for a wild ride. Several drivers involved in that one. We had Thiel, Bentley, Martin, Tepe, Tucker, Bentley going off track. Now we bring out our 5th caution of the night. We are getting dangerously close to 6th. I would like to publicly change my wager, as I believe I was mistaken. We've got Big J joining in here tonight. Our good friend, James Bishop, Fear the Fun. And we're getting asked for a status update on Proctor. Proctor's going to come down pit lane. I'm not sure if he was involved in that incident or not. We'll take a look for the fans at home. Ooh, Proctor unfortunately did not get through that one nice and clear. But as bad as that could have went for Proctor in 36, that was pretty good. You're taking on board Proctor. Watch the carnage in front of you. They're bobbing and weaving. And just nowhere to go. As it's still going to be Eckert out front. I think that was possibly Bentley getting the wave around in the number 16 machine. And for our fans at home, we see you last minute voters. 1 or 2 guys that have come in and decide to vote late into the poll. We see you. We're going to get them racked back up, double file, while I continue to consume cough drops up here in the booth. For those of you at home that are thinking about getting COVID for fun, would not recommend it. I'm just now getting my smell and my taste back, and it's perfect timing as there is blood in the water here in Chicagoland. We've had 5 cautions before lap 50. So before the halfway mark has even come about. So we've got to get to lap 67 to make it to our halfway mark here today. Spino Racing cheering on Jay in the top 20. Stinson is up 19 positions so far here today in the number 18 machine. And I think that's going to be the strategy for several teams out there today is find your friends and teammates, guys you know you can trust, link up, click off some laps, single file, get through a fuel run, and avoid the inevitable bloodbath. I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited for these short tracks we're going to see later on in Season 2. Imagine 43 knuckleheads at a track such as Martinsville. It'll get exciting. Green flag is a go. Eckert with a great launch. Let's see if we can get a whole lap done here. Eckert getting comfortably ahead of the rest of the pack, but it's McGronigle and Henderson going side by side. Heller in the number 11 looks to the inside line. They're going to go 3 wide. McGronigle has a bit of a bobble. Not quite sure what happened there. And these guys not very patient on the restarts. They are going as soon as they get on the gas. Barbagalata, he's 3 wide in the middle. Tucks up behind Barkuski in the number 25 machine. Are these drivers going to have any semblance of patience, or are they going to wad it up 3 laps in on this restart? Now again, today we're in Chicagoland. Next week we're at Delaware. We've got Nashville Super Speedway, and we got to report that the number 19 will receive an end-of-line penalty for his contact with the number 89 of Feskinen. That is Hernandez and Feskinen, both heavily involved in an incident that cleaned out several drivers. Not sure if the POL is just for record-keeping sake, as I believe both drivers will be out of the event. Sustaining such heavy damage. Let's see what other interesting tracks we have coming up on the series. The number 94 will receive a drive-through penalty, changing lanes before the start-finish line. Race control has been harping into these guys to read the rule book and make sure they don't make any silly mistakes. And that is an easy one to avoid making. These drivers must maintain their position until their line before they cross the start-finish line. Looking at the races we have coming up tonight, I think New Smyrna may be one of the most exciting tracks we see this season. Or Nashville Super Speedway could also be an interesting one, the concrete track in Tennessee. We're checking out the battle for second. Tate Lytle running second in the number 56 machine. Lytle won the season opener at Daytona. He's got a lot of company as Elliott Henderson trying to make his way through as well in the number 37. Maybe, just maybe, we can get some good green flag runs here. Oh, I said the thing, we're bound to crash now. But I'm still going to be optimistic here. Now we've got some viewers, fans, family, friends, sponsors that are joining us for the first time. If you're not familiar with these ARCA Menards machines, they do not lend themselves well to contact bumper to bumper. The front end of these cars will actually slide underneath the rear bumper of your friend you're trying to bump trap, lift them up, and then pivot them rapidly out of the way. So these guys got to be very careful. Elliott Henderson takes over second place. Tate Lytle, Brandon Barkuski go side by side. Barkuski looks to the inside line of Lytle, and it looks like he will take over third place fairly comfortably in the number 25 machine. As these guys are doing a great job battling. Barkuski, the number 25 machine, knows that they have a teammate in need. He's got Christopher Heller behind him in the bright pink number 11. Now we had somebody ask a great question. That was Tucker asking, are they the 105-inch cars or the 110? I believe iRacing simulates this with a 105-inch machine. Now, from my understanding in real life, they do have a Speedway or a Super Speedway package with a more square rear fender, but I couldn't begin to tell you why that's not simulated in iRacing. As a driver and broadcaster, I would prefer to see something that you can bump trap your friends with, maybe such as the older car of tomorrow that's still in iRacing, but that's probably the best thing about this series is everyone's on the same setup, and we are going to bring out the 6th caution of the night. I believe that might have been Rhett Tucker involved in that one. Let's take a look here as he took a quick tow to pit lane. Tucker involved in an incident, but did not show it on live timing for some reason. And that will bring out the 6th caution. Uh-oh, my wager's not looking as good anymore, ladies and gentlemen. Now, technically, the bet still runs, as it is an over or under, and we are neither right now. Johnny Eckert trying to psych out the field with a pit stop strategy. Opting to stay out here. We are 1 caution away from 79% of our viewers being right. more drivers getting the wave around here. This may be a long night, ladies and gentlemen. As they are almost to the halfway mark of the evening. That was not quite sure how long that run was, to be entirely honest with you. Now it will be Henderson and Eckert on the front row, Barkowski and Heller your second row, Lytle and I believe Robert Hill Jr. on the third row. No, it's going to be Barbagalata. But every time you've got these guys coming out and wadding up some machinery, that takes a few more drivers off of the circuit and will increase the chances of long green flag runs. Race control saying no penalty, unable to determine the cause of caution. It looked like possibly a self-car spin with the connectivity issues that driver was having. Really tough to really locate it on the live timing software that we are provided. Race control actually using the same software that I am to run the show here today. Allows him to go back and watch the instant replays, same as you guys at home. But he'll be watching them a little bit more in depth, trying to see what is going on out on the track and seeing who may be deserving of an EOL. Pace car is in. Eckert with another patented launch gets a great start. Barkowski going to do his best to follow up along the inside of Henderson, as well as the 56 of Tate Lytle. You've also got the bright pink number 11 of Christopher Heller. He's doing his best to catch up to his teammate, and the number 25, Brandon Barkowski, is second on track, but he has a bobble past the outside wall. That may allow Lytle to get through here and slow down the pace of Heller. Let's see if it affects him. Guys are pushing hard and aggressively, trying to make some positions up. Everybody trying to keep their machines underneath them. Freer goes off track, and it brings out the caution. I have now officially lost my own wager, as I believe Freer is involved in that one. Let's take a look. Wrong button. We're watching Freer. So that's Carrington. Where is Freer? Yeah, Freer sent it up the inside in the grass. That was enough to bring out the caution. Let's back that camera angle up just a little bit and see that off-track excursion. See if maybe he got a little bit of help from a friend there. Oh, no, it was in front of him. Heavily in front of him. So in front of Freer, let's see who's pinballing across the wall there. Looked like the 38. Yes, it was. Getting all sorts of unsettled. Freer was actually playing it safe. Dived down on the inside to avoid trying to get into Justin Ray, the number 38 machine, which is careening across the racetrack. The number 26, I believe that's Gentry, doing a great job avoiding it as well. As we're going to try and pick up Gentry's angle of that one. Oh, look at that save. Let's back that one up. And look how long Ray was holding on to that number 38 machine after tagging the wall. And look at Gentry having the knowledge and spatial awareness to get on the brakes, doing everything he can to avoid Ray. That was a spectacular save. I'm going to take a super quick break here in the broadcast booth, grab a glass of water, but don't go anywhere. We'll be back as I have officially lost my own bet with over 6 cautions here tonight. All right, I am back, ladies and gentlemen. We've got bottles of water, we've got cough drops, and we've got time for more action here today. Now the question is, we are just past the halfway mark tonight. Are we going to see 14 cautions? You know what? I'll switch it up. We're going to go with the lucky 13. Will it be an over-under 13 cautions for the remainder of the race as we're past the halfway mark? We've had 7 cautions so far. Will we get 6 more cautions? Votes starting to roll in. We've got a few guys, or I shouldn't say guys, we've got people from all over the world voting, but we got a few folks voting under. Victoria Harper saying under. with the crossed fingers emoji. I've got to agree with Victoria. Pace car is in. Eckert gets it going. You've got Barkuski and Henderson, Heller, and Lytle in the top 5. Now, thankfully, so far, the Connors really haven't been in the top 10. It's been a little bit further back in the field. Christopher Heller doing everything he can to try and get around Elliott Henderson, but nowhere to go. And on his inside line, he's got Tate Lytle. This is the battle for 4th on screen, as they are all over the racetrack trying to find a groove to settle into. We got Stryker Motorsports saying 12 cautions is their prediction. Jeremy Barber, he's saying under. Top 5 not moving around a whole lot here. It's Eckert, Barkuski, Henderson, Lytle, and Heller. But you've got Barbagalata, Rogers, and Delph who want to get up there as well to interject themselves into the top 5 party. Looks like Lytle trying a different line, switching to the high side, see if that works a little bit better, as Heller looking for the low line, trying to gain some speed up front. I believe that is Henderson. No, that was Barkuski, challenged for the lead with the jumping Johnny Eckert out front. Now these guys have last coming to lap 35, so they have about 43 laps on the tires. Granted, to be fair, not a lot of those laps were under green flag conditions. As Eckert and Barkuski clicked off 31.75s their last time by. Their fastest of the session is owned by Eckert with a 31.13 as far as your race leaders go. So tire wear not really becoming a factor yet in tonight's race, as it has been great cautions punctuated by racing. Now I would imagine your top 5 drivers are going to try and get in a groove and maybe just click off some laps. But no, Barkuski has other plans. He looks to the inside line of Eckert and number 90 machine. Eckert may carry a little bit more speed in the one. It's going to be close as they go side by side into turn 1. Eckert has the speed advantage running the middle groove. But Barkuski's going to do everything he can to interject himself. Number 25 machine not quite able to do it this lap. And he will live to fight another day to see where he can measure Eckert up at. Now, Barkuski's got to be a little bit careful here. Despite the historical data of the night, if we, for some crazy reason, go green for a while, tire management will finally become a factor for these drivers. Now, Barkuski is up 10 spots from where he started tonight. Eckert is up 1 spot. But we've got about 52 laps left to go for these drivers. Tate Lytle getting a push to Elliott Henderson around the track here at Chicago. trying to get both number 56 and the number 37 up into contention to battle with your race leaders. Now tire wear slightly becoming a factor as drivers are about 8 to 9 tenths off their fastest of the lap of the race. I would imagine a lot of drivers here today have been working on short run speed because, I mean, we've had 7 cautions so far tonight. Why would you not bet on another? But that will really come to bite a few of the drivers that were banking on another short run that may go out there and cook the tires. So keep an eye out if any drivers are gambling on those long runs. Maybe in a good position towards the end of a run to make up some ground. And again, only 3 sets of tires available to these drivers. And we've also seen it before as drivers that mean to come in for just fuel take tires by accident. Hopefully that's not an issue for anybody here tonight, as a lot of these guys have ran the entirety of Season 1. We have a few new faces for Season 2 with, again, 48 entries here tonight. Only 43 made it into the big show, and we still have 30 drivers on the lead lap with about 5 drivers who have retired early. But here we go, another caution. Feskin, the number 89 machine, showed as an off track. Not sure if he was the cause or maybe a victim there. Let's take a look from the number 89's point of view. As no, it was further ahead of Feskinen. Let's check maybe Silver's point of view in the number 17. I think that's Silver's. Yes, it is. Oh, yes, it was. He gets tagged by the number 14 machine and goes careening across the track. We're going to watch that one final time a little bit slower. Silvers might have come up the track into the number 14's line. Tags the wall very, very hard. That was Brad Delph involved in that with the number 14 machine while the field scatters around. And that will be the 8th caution of the night. As your race leaders come down pit lane, Eckert, Barkuski, Henderson, Lytle, Heller, Barbagalata, Rogers, Weeks, Roethlisberger, Vandermeer, Delph, Carrington. It looks like it's going to be McGronigle that stays out in the number 94 machine. He came in last on lap 63. It looked like maybe just for tires. It's kind of tough to tell. He's only in his pit stall for 4.3 seconds. Alex Penn also opting to stay out. His last pit stop was lap 63, so he'll be on 24 lap older tires than his friends coming back out on track. Looks like Roethlisberger takes a 2-tire stop, as well as Jay Stinson in the number 18. Now these guys should be able to go to the end on fuel here after this final stop. But you're also going to have guys out with different strategies as well as far as tires go. So now it will be McGronigle and Penn starting on the front row. Eckert and Barkuski, your second row. Henderson and Roethlisberger, your third row. as now we will see if SoundCloud Silvers will be able to get back out on track or if he's going to be done after that heavy damage that he has took. Still showing out on track. Only in his pit stall for 14 seconds, but he's got to be having some bad aero damage, I would imagine. Doesn't look too terribly bad. And he'll be back out on track in 17th place in the number 17 machine. As race control calls that one a racing incident between the 14 and 17, I think I would tend to agree with that call. As look at this, Alex Penn with Porsche ARCA Sport on the front row for the first time tonight. Taking a bit of a gamble with the tire and pit strategy, but good to see the road racer out there running strong. It will be Penn and McGronigle the front row for this restart. Harrington with a bit of a problem. Maybe having to check up to get back in line. "44 laps remaining here tonight for the second round of the Winter Series of All-American ARCA. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what the front runners can do on a slightly older set of tires. McGronigle with a great launch, getting out front, charging hard. Alex Penn is going to quickly drop down the board as here comes Eckert, Henderson, and Lytle around the outside. And we've also got more great action as, Zach Rogers pulls out in front of, I believe that was Barbagalata. Able to hold on to it, though. Oh, no! There goes Henderson. Henderson spins. Able to hold on to it, keeps it pointing the right direction. Boy, what a massive save that was. As now he will drop back to 12th place behind Brad Delp and I believe Jay Stinson. Barkuski, your race leader. Eckert running second. McGronigle third. As this is a crash waiting to happen as they dip and dive 2 and 3 wide around the track. Christopher Heller looks up to the inside of Zach Rogers. Meanwhile, right ahead, that's Barbagalata, and I believe McGronigle putting on a show as well, trying to hold on to it. Not a lot of patience from our drivers here today as they are immediately licking the stamp and absolutely sending it every time we get a restart. Barkuski still your race leader. Eckert second, Barbagalata third, Lytle fourth, Heller fifth. As you're on board with Christopher Heller, he's about a 0.4 of a second back from the lead pack, with Tate Lytle running fourth at the tail end of that train. Things going a little bit smoother as that lead pack stretches out. All the drivers have anywhere between 2 to 4 tenths between them inside the top 5. But Heller is making strides here. Cycle it back. I think I saw a little bit more 2-wide action. That's Brad Delph, Michael Vandermeet going side by side. That's the battle for 7th. Delph on the inside, Vandermeet on the outside in the number 7 machine. Behind them, you've got DJ Weeks Jr., Elliott Henderson. Henderson with the save of the day here. Able to collect himself, keep things rolling in the right direction. As Delph will take over the spot for Vandermeet. And Henderson's going to have some company with DJ Weeks Jr. trying to charge through the field. Weeks is up 5 spots. Henderson down 7 spots from where they started. And Henderson not going to let it go unanswered, sliding back in front of Weeks. Pretty much everybody inside the top 10 came in on lap 87 for fuel and tires as the race leaders are tagging the outside wall. Not sure if that was Eckert we saw tag the wall. As now the tire wear game really been coming to effect. And here we go, another caution. I believe it's going to be Bentley, Martin, possibly Proctor involved. Let's take a quick look and see what may have happened. You're watching the overhead All-American ARCA instant replay. You got Martin on the inside. No, it's further ahead. That is the number 16 machine. And oh my goodness, what a hit. Proctor nowhere to go in that one. As let's try and find the number 16 machine. That's Justin Bentley. Well, let's watch that maybe from his point of view. Let's back that up. I'm not sure if Bentley got help there or just sent it all on his lonesome. Or he may got tagged by the number 32 machine. The 32 will be... Not quite sure who that is. Let's watch from this point of view. Yes, just the slightest amount of contact that sends the number 16 machine spinning. The field checks up. And then carnage. Absolute carnage. Is there still crashing? Somebody crashing ahead? What a bloodbath here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. As now we're going to watch this from Proctor's onboard point of view. Oh! He gets some, Proctor does everything right, gets on the brakes, but just nowhere to go. And that will bring out our 9th caution for those that are playing along at home here today. I'm betting on over, just for the record. We've got 31 more laps, plenty of time for drivers to absolutely bin it. I think the biggest takeaway here tonight is drivers just have to be patient. Everybody's out here battling for points. If you can just get in line, cruise around for a bit, you have a great chance at a top 10, a top 15. As we've had so many drivers just get collected here. Looks to be about 26 drivers still on the lead lap. And let's see if they can survive the remaining 30 laps, or if it's going to be eye-pacing through and through here today. But the highlight reel and the radioactive for this week, I'm going to go ahead and call it. It's going to be spectacular. Let's see, current hard charger is going to be Derrick Cook in the number 21 machine, who is up 31 positions with a 3 in front of it, ladies and gentlemen. Currently 11th on track. He qualified 42nd, and that's one of those drivers. He's kept his nose clean. He's tried to avoid all the incident, and he has gained major positions, just being able to stay out on track and avoid the heartbreak some of the other drivers are having. As it's going to be once again Barkuski and Barbagalata on the front row. The caution count is 9, and the broadcaster's cough drop count is about 37 so far here today. Barkuski with a huge launch, but something to keep an eye out on here. He's got his teammate Christopher Heller in the bright pink number 11 machine, just a couple of short spots behind him, as Barbagalata and Lytle go side by side. Right behind them, it's Elliot Henderson and Christopher Heller also side by side. Second through fifth running very close here. That's going to allow Barkuski a chance to put his head down and hot lap, as he is not having to push the air that the cars side by side are. You've also got Zach Rogers, number 57 machine, trying to use that aero advantage to pull his way up into the fray. About 26 laps left to go for our drivers. It's Barkuski out front, Lytle second, Barbagalata third, Heller fourth, Henderson fifth. Still anybody's guess, I think, on who's going to be able to bring it home today, as Barkuski is going to find company very quickly, as here comes Tate Lytle, number 56 machine. Lytle wants to make it back-to-back wins for the opening rounds of the All-American ARCA Season 2. The Winter Series has got the fireworks going on here, as here we go, the battle for the lead getting ready to kick off. It's Brandon Barkuski out front. Tate Lytle second. Barkuski up 11 spots from where he started. Lytle up 5 spots. as we are going to turn on the stadium lights here at Chicagoland, and we're going to race into the night. 25 laps left to go for our competition. Meanwhile, you've also got Barbagalata and Henderson going side by side, getting back into single file just ever so briefly, maybe working together to try and pull their way up to the race leaders. Because Lytle is driving the wheels off the number 56 machine, doing everything he can to get around Barkuski. Here comes Lytle looking to the inside. Can he make it stick against Barkuski? Not going to quite have the drive on this attempt, coming out of 4, but let's see what he does going into 1. As they go nose to tail down the apron, Barkuski finds a little bit more speed, stretches the gap to about 0.15 of a second. And once these runs really get going, it's tougher and tougher for these guys to make a move. But look at this, here comes Eckert. They're going to be battling hard for 3rd place here. Eckert and Vandermeed have linked up on the inside line, trying to get around Henderson and Barbagalata. It's 23 laps left to go, and you would think how these guys have been driving tonight, it's been 10 laps left to go for the duration of the event. Eckert still looking to the inside line against Henderson. Vandermeed slots up to the high side as well. And now Vandermeed goes back to the inside line behind Eckert as your race leaders Lytle and Barkuski go side by side once more. Lytle's on the inside line, Barkuski's in the middle groove going into turn 1. We're too wide and we're about 5 rows deep for the top 10 here. As your race leaders make the slightest of contact, Tate Lytle, Brandon Barkuski driving the wheels off the number 25 and the 56. It's Barkuski has the speed going into turn 3, but Lytle has the line looking to the inside line. Behind them, they're 3 wide for 3rd place, with Eckert moving back up into podium contention ahead of Henderson and Vandermeed. Barkuski holding on to the race lead. We've seen Lytle take several jabs at him as you're on board Lytle in the number 56 machine. Will he make a move into turn 3, or is he going to try and get some momentum back up, because he knows there's 3 fast guys right behind him, Eckert, McGronigle, Vandermeed. Where did McGronigle come from in this mix? McGronigle, who had to serve a drive-through penalty for an illegal lane change on the restart, has worked his way back up into 5th. Eckert doing everything he can to try and get another spot. He looks to the outside line, see if he can carry some more speed against Lytle, tucking in behind your race leader Barkuski. But Lytle's going to hold that inside groove. Look at this, Eckert's going to go for an outside move along Barkuski. Vandermeed's going to follow as well, driving in extremely deep. And now Eckert's going to challenge for the race lead here at Chicagoland. He's had a roller coaster of a night. Barkuski holding the inside line. Vandermeed has found a whole lot of speed in the number 7 machine. Eckert and Vandermeed came in a lap 102 for tires. Barkuski has not come in since lap 87. He should still have 1 set of tires in reserve here. So now it's going to be Eckert out front, Vandermeed 2nd, Carrington 3rd. Where did these guys come from late in the race? Carrington's going to slide underneath Barkuski. This may be newer tires coming into effect, as again Carrington, another driver that came in on lap 102, as well as McGronigle. Tate Lytle has a bobble, moves back to 7th. You're on board with Carrington. He's about 0.3 of a second back from Vandermeed. What a race that is forming up here today. It's Eckert, Vandermeed, Carrington, McGronigle, Barkuski, running first through fifth. DJ Weeks has just taken over fourth place from Barkuski. Seems like that lap 102 pit stop really working well for several drivers. But let's go back up front. Is Vandermeer going to be able to challenge Eckert straight up? Or is he going to be too busy holding off Carrington and the number 9 machine? Eckert drops down low. Vandermeer and Carrington stay linked up, trying to use that draft to pull their way up to Eckert and the number 9. It's 15 laps left to go for the Chicagoland 200. Eckert's last time by a 32.14. Vandermeer with a 32.11. Carrington with a 32 flat. You've also got Andrew McGronigal up in the mix. DJ Weeks Jr. lags behind about a half second to this 4-car party that's shaken up. Vandermeer doing everything in his power to pick up a win here. And I've got to hand it to Vandermeer. He has found a lot of pace as the season progresses. He runs several league events a week and has just been getting faster and faster and faster. Vandermeer did not get a win last season, but here he comes challenging, jumping Johnny Eckert for the win. Who's going to keep a little bit of tires underneath them? These guys have not been used to long runs at all here tonight at Chicago. And Vandermeer knows the only way to go is forward, as Carrington in third place is going to do whatever it takes to try and put himself up another spot. But Carrington with a bobble tags the outside wall. He's going to lose a little bit of pace here. No, he's not. He's going to stay glued to Vandermeer. Less than 0.2 of a second separating your top 3 drivers here. Carrington looking to the inside line, and the bright blue Mopar number 9 machine, seeing if he can get a wheel inside of Vandermeer. Vandermeer trying to stay in the draft of jumping Johnny Eckert, who's out front. As it will be 10 laps left to go as they cross the line. This is going to be a game of who can make the least amount of mistakes and maybe not show their cards too early. Oh, this is going to be a nail-biter all the way to the end. I am calling it. Eckert just lightly tags the outside wall. Doesn't seem to lose any drive from it. Vandermeer, if he is going to make a pass, he's going to have to do so as quickly as he can. Because if he does not make it stick, Carrington is sitting there waiting to capitalize on any mistakes that Vandermeer or Eckert may possibly make running first and second. And right as we say that, Eckert looks to the apron, tries to pick up the spot from Vandermeer. They're going to go side by side into turn 1. Carrington on the inside line. Vandermeer running the middle groove of the number 7 machine. Who's going to carry the drive down the backstretch? And is this going to slow down both drivers and take away their chances of battling with Eckert for the lead? It seemed like Vandermeer didn't lose a whole lot of time there. He's about 0.2 back from Eckert. Carrington less than 1/10 back from Vandermeer, as they're going to link up bumpers through the tri-oval here at Chicago. And don't forget about Andrew McGronigal as well, number 94 machine. He wants to get in on the action. But if any of these drivers running second, third, or fourth, Vandermeer, Carrington, McGronigal, start battling hard, that is going to allow Eckert to walk away. But oh no, here we go. Another caution comes out. And there's going to be a bunch of carnage in this one, ladies and gentlemen. Barbagalata involved in an incident. Let's see what else happens. He's in the number 35 machine. He turns down and hooks the number 14 of Brad Delph. Delph gets ejected. And let's see who else gets tagged here. The 01 Carolus Steele couldn't get away from it. The number 26 Shane Gentry comes charging in to interrupt the party as well. I believe that's Harrington and the number 85 machine. And this is where things are going to get very interesting, ladies and gentlemen. That'll be our 10th caution of the night. But let's see. Brandon Barkuski comes down pit road. Tate Lytle comes down pit road. Let's see if Silvers comes down pit road. Silvers' last pit stop was on lap 87. As you may see drivers that have one set of tires left in reserve throw them on for a last-ditch hurrah. Now again, there are 3 green-white checker attempts. If I was a betting man, and boy am I, I'm going to bet we're going to use at least one of those here today. Still time to see if we're going to have the 13 cautions. Right now, the 71% of the 14 voters are looking pretty good to win that one. But here's you're going to want to keep an eye on 17th place back. Lytle, Henderson, Heller, Rogers, Barkuski, Doyle, Gentry, all taking tires in that final stop. Now, granted, some of those drivers were involved in some damage and may not quite have the pace they want. But this will be our final restart attempt before we go into overtime conditions. It'll be 3 laps left to go as they get ready to grid them up. It's going to be Eckert and Vandermeet the front row. Eckert's been getting great launches whenever he's on the front row in the number 90 machine. Let's see if Vandermeet can match it. Because if not, Carrington is looking good to bring home a podium, up 18 spots in the number 9 machine. And everybody inside the top 9 on the same tire strategy except for Dylan Breton, who appeared to take 2 tires on his lap 102 pit stop. Here we go for possibly the final time of the night. Eckert mashes on the gas. Vandermeet gets a good launch as well as Carrington. And you've got a lot of fast drivers that are battling for podium contention here. You've got Eckert, Carrington, Vandermeer, Weeks, McGronigle, Breton, Hill, Roethlisberger, Evans. Carrington takes over second place. They're about 0.4 of a second back from Eckert. 3 laps left to go. Here comes DJ Weeks Jr. on the inside line in the number 97 machine. Now Eckert and Weeks are teammates. So if they can score a 1-2 or a 1-3 here tonight, that'd be extremely impressive. Carrington takes over second place. Weeks side by side with Vandermeer as he comes up the racetrack. McGronigle looks to the inside line, number 94 machine. They're going to be 3 wide going into turn 3. Can they hold on to it? DJ decides to back out ever so slightly, a probably safe move. If Eckert, the white flag is out, this is for all the marbles. There will be a big crash here, but let's see if Eckert is going to be able to hold on to it as McGronigle tags the outside wall. Carrington about 0.4 of a second behind Eckert. I don't think he's going to have the speed to try and catch up. Tate Lytle has moved his way back into third after McGronigle had the bobble. The checkered flag will fly, though, and Eckert will win his first race of the season. Carrington second, and Tate Lytle will get third. What a night here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Great display of racing there at the end. And our friends that voted under 14 or under 13 caution, also winners here tonight. We're going to rally our drivers up for their podium interviews. And Eckert's going to burn it down in style, picking up his very first win of the season, a well-deserved win. Playing things right here tonight and picking up a great podium finish. He's going to burn it down. I believe that's going to be Westergreen next to him, his teammate. And both drivers going to absolutely light up the rear tires with a well-deserved team victory. And they're going to go in typical fashion, tip to tip, burning it down. Now they're at a perpendicular angle, but hey, they're racers. We are still waiting on Tate Lytle to make his way up into the waiting room for his post-race interview. As we're going to get all of our drivers up in the booth here. But what a spectacular race here at Chicagoland. Up first, we've got Tate Lytle bringing home a third in the number 56 machine. Tate, did you expect to be here at the end of tonight? Because that was a wild, wild race.
I felt like if it went green, we were saving tires better than just about anybody. And every time it would kind of start to come to us after 20, 30 laps, there'd be a caution. So I never really got to show it necessarily. I really wish that caution would have came out about 2 laps sooner because we were ripping the top there the last couple laps. I think we upset the 77 car, but hopefully he gets over it in the next 7 days. And, yeah, I mean, just the fact that we have a podium, that's pretty awesome the way that there for a second I was thinking I was going to finish about 15th. So we'll take third. That's probably about where, it was me, Eckert, and Elliott were kind of, I felt like had the speed on the long runs. The 25 and the 11 were really short on the short runs, but they were just charging so hard they would blow their right front off and we'd get them back. But third's probably about where I deserve to finish. But there was a couple, if it played just a little bit differently, I really felt like we could have got 2 wins in a row.
Now, Tate, you talked about kind of planning for long runs. I mean, despite the cautions we saw early in tonight, did you Did you really expect any long runs to form up as the race progressed, or did about midway through the race did you start thinking, oh no, this is going to be all about short run shenanigans?
I mean, we only got 3 sets of tires, so I was just planning on saving as much as I could whenever I could, hoping that at some point it would pay off. And I mean, it did. It almost didn't, but it did. We saved that set of tires. I don't know. I don't know where I would have stacked up on the short run, just because I never really charged on the short run. I just was really trying to manage that right front tire, running that middle line, kind of where the rubber was, and letting it kind of kick sideways a little bit on exit, just to kind of even out the wear. And I felt like we were doing a pretty good job. And like I said, every time it kind of came to us, we'd get another yellow. If that yellow there with 3 to go would have come out with about 5 to go, green flag, I think we would have had something for Johnny. But we'll take the 3rd place. It was better than what we were thinking about 10 minutes ago. That should keep us in the points lead, and that's really, at the end of the day, what we're after.
Well, Tate, a great performance as always, man. Great to have you back in the podium for the 2nd time this season. Before I let you sign off and celebrate with the rest of the guys, who would I like to give a shout-out to that's supporting you and the team this season?
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Johnny Eckert just for winning the race. He caught the fence there before that second to last caution, and I kind of thought it was over for him. And he was able to come back and make the winning call. And gosh, these guys are loud. Anyway, he was able to come back, make the winning call, and make the win there. Got to shout out Brent Wentz. Days gone by. Like I said last week, he's not on the car yet. We're working on it. We're getting there. We'll have him on the car next week, hopefully. Go check out Days Gone By on Etsy. He's got an Instagram, Twitter, a lot of cheap vintage racing apparel. I've bought a bunch of stuff there. I mean, if you're listening to this, you like racing, so go check that out. Not kidding at all. Go check it out right now. Get your phone out. Do it right now. Got to shout out Robert Hill Jr. for letting me run one of his cars, and Jake and Zach for putting up with me for 134 laps.
Well, Tate, great job as always, man. Welcome back to Victory Lane, and we'll let you go celebrate with the team. But once again, congratulations, my friend.
Hey, thanks. Yeah, we'll take the podium. Thanks to you as well. Hang in there, man.
Always a pleasure, sir. Up next, we've got Casey Carrington. Carrington picking up a 2nd place in the number 9 machine. Is that kind of what you expected here today, or what was the general expectations coming into Chicagoland, and how quickly did those expectations change for you?
Well, coming into the race, I was hoping I could at least get a top 5. I put a lot of time in practice this week, and those expectations changed pretty early because I qualified like 19th, and man, I pretty much ran 15th or so all race. I mean, it was really that roll of the dice pit call with about 34 to go, where I was debating on whether I wanted to put tires on, and then once I saw Johnny dive in, I was like, yeah, okay, I'm going to trust him, and I really just followed him in the 7 all the way through, the guys in the old tires, and was able to hang on to it there at the end. Hold off Tate.
Now, Casey, we saw the top 5, kind of leaning on each other, but nothing overly aggressive. Were you pretty happy with the driving you faced with everybody inside the top 5, top 10, or was it a little bit rougher than you were expecting tonight?
Yeah, in the top 5, it was all right, especially there at the end because we all pretty much had fresh tires. But man, back in the middle of the pack, it was sketchy, man. I mean, I know we had a outbreak of cautions there in the middle of the race, but I'm surprised there weren't more. I mean, it was sketchy, especially on the front stretch because the lanes open up to like 7 lanes, and you're dealing with going down to the apron and coming back up. I mean, it was tough. It looks easy probably just because of the layout of the track, but once you're in traffic, it's like a completely different track.
Well, you did great out there, putting the number 9 on the podium for, I believe, the first time this season. Liking the new paint scheme as well. The car's looking sharp. Casey, before I let you sign off and celebrate and maybe handle some administrative stuff, who would you like to give a shout-out to that's supporting you this season?
All my teammates, Team Dodge, CH, TW, Nick, Patrick, Ron. Big thanks to Joseph doing race control. We do not pay that guy enough for what he does, mainly because we don't pay him at all. But big thanks to him. Big thanks to DJ and Kyle for all the stuff they do as adminning. Big thanks to you for broadcasting. Anybody watching tonight, thanks to you as well. I do want to shout out, you mentioned it, the paint scheme. Shout out to Marshall Newton. I know you broadcast him in the week season. He's the guy who painted that Mopar car for me. So I'm glad I was able to finally get a decent finish with it.
Yeah, Marshall Arts does great work, and Casey, you did a great job as well tonight. Congratulations. A very hard-earned 2nd after a bit of a meat grinder, but overall, great job tonight, my friend.
Thank you very much.
And that is Casey Carrington bringing home second tonight. But now the man of the hour, Jumpin' Johnny Eckert in the number 90 machine. Well, we grabbed the wrong guy. There's Jumpin' Johnny Eckert in the number 90 machine, bringing home on the top spot for the first time this season. Daytona didn't go well for you, but you seem to got the gremlin shaked out of the number 90, and you got to be pretty pumped with how tonight went.
Yeah, it was a lot of there's a lot of controversy, I guess, throughout, from the contact on lap 1 and then hitting the wall with I don't even know how many to go right before that caution came out where I pitted, and I don't really know how I'm in this position because it just felt like I was behind on the back foot for quite a bit. I didn't necessarily have the pace that I wanted to have, and I thought I could have as it got dark and as it got later. So I don't know, something to that I'm probably go back and look into to see exactly what I was doing wrong and try to figure it out. But yeah, I mean, to go home with the win, with the charging fresh tire guys coming, I was scared that it wasn't gonna have enough time that they were gonna have enough time to catch me, but thankfully held on, and to some degree I'm really I'm pumped. I'm really pumped actually. I don't know. I didn't think that was gonna be possible when that last restart with when I was on fresh tires so deep in the field, trying to get through the guys and trying not to wear the tires out at the same time is a tough task. So yeah.
Now, Johnny,
Wow.
you talked about the tire wear in the final restart. Do you think that final late caution might have helped you out and kind of prevented the guys with newer tires from getting a good run on you, or how do you think that played into tonight's finish?
I think we only had one caution towards the end, so those guys that were we were still the fresh tire guys, I think, at that time. I think I could be wrong, but um, if that if we had another caution, I would have been in big trouble. That's for sure. I would have had nothing. But once we got that white flag, I was like, all right, now I just got to make sure that I hit 1 and 2 well, because 3 and 4 wasn't as big of a concern for me. I'd been through plenty of scenarios throughout the week of pushing and stuff like that. So I was prepared for 3 and 4, but 1 and 2 coming off turn 2 felt like if something was gonna happen, it was gonna be there. So I was just trying to keep focused and look at look out front instead of behind me. But the guys were coming really fast, and I don't know. I guess some of them are pretty fortunate that the caution came out when they did, that they got to recover to pretty decent finishes. I think Elliott got into something, which is again really unfortunate for him. But yeah, I'm kind of surprised we held on to it, and I don't know, the way that end of the race played out just kind of worked in my favor for once. So
Yeah,
in that case,
yeah, seemed to go a little bit better than Daytona. So I mean, congratulations again. Good to have you up on the top spot. I mean, if this is any indication on how the season's gonna go, this is going to be exciting all the way through, so I'm looking forward to it. I hope you are as well. Johnny, before I let you sign off and celebrate with the rest of the hooligans with Outlaw Racing, who would you like to give a shout-out to? Friends, family, sponsors, the floor is yours, my friend.
yeah, well, first of all, I want to thank you for broadcasting and all you do with the broadcast. I mean, you do a fantastic job every week, and season 1 was absolutely spectacular, and it's been more of the same awesome stuff this season. So I want to thank you, and I want to thank the admins for putting on the show, and Joe for all he does in the race control booth. I want to thank my teammates, DJ Weeks, Zach Roethlisberger, and David Westergreen for all that they do. I mean, they were, constantly discussing things. So, top notch drivers, and I'm glad to have them on my, on board. And yeah, we're thinking about Adam Tepe this week. I think his mother was diagnosed with breast cancer, and it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So he overcame quite a bit of adversity to come home 17th. So thinking about him and his family right now, and hoping everything goes well. And it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so definitely I don't I don't know, this timing, ironic timing on that one, I guess. But yeah, so we're thinking about him and his family, and yeah, I'm looking forward to what the rest of the season has to come. This season is definitely going to be a lot crazier. I mean, I think 5 cars went home today, and the racing up front is even tighter than it's ever been. I mean, Vandermeed was keeping me honest for every lap of that last run before that late caution. So, yeah, it's going to be an exciting season. We're two races in, and I feel like the pressure is already on every single front runner. So yeah, it's gonna be intriguing. Can't wait to see what next week has to hold.
Well, Johnny, well said as always. Congratulations having you back on the top spot. Hope the good luck continues for the rest of the season, and just looking forward to some more great racing from you, my friend.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it, and appreciate you.
Always a pleasure, my friend. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to do it for Chicagoland 200 at the All-American ARCA Series. It was a bit of a rough race for several drivers, but Eckert, Carrington, and Lytle able to put it on the podium for round 2 of the season. As always, thank you so much to our fans, friends, and family, as well as the individual sponsors for the drivers showing up to tonight. Looking forward to next week as well. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week, and we'll see you next time. Have a great weekend, everybody.